BMW R12GS skid plate. So this is the installation guide. So we have the skid plate and we have two brackets, rear and front. And as you can see, the holes are offset. So you can't install the brackets backwards because the holes are not going to line up. So there's only one way to put them in, both the front and the rear. You can see it right there. The supplied hardware, so we have 4 M8 by 25 millimeter long bolts. These are socket head bolts, 2 washers on each bolt and 1 nylock nut. And then we have 4 M6 by 20s, 2 washers and a nylock nut each. And then we have 12 M6 by 16 tapered Allen bolts and a nylock nut each. The tools I'm going to be using, 10 and 13 millimeter wrenches or spanners, ratchet plus extension, 4, 5, and 6 millimeter Allen sockets. All right, so first and foremost, you have to make sure that you have the Outback Motortek crash bars installed because our skid plate is fully crash bars mounted in order to avoid mounting it on the oil pan or anywhere on the motor. So the front mounting tabs are here, one on each side, and then the rear mounting tabs are back here, again, one on each side. So what I'm going to start with is this bracket, and this bracket will be loosely fitted on the lower crash bars because it cannot slip in place vertically. It has to be rotated in, and so with this mounted on the skid plate, it would be a little bit too complicated. So I'm going to mount this first using the M8 socket head bolts, washers, nylock nuts. And this one I'm going to pre-mount. I'm going to leave it nice and loose. All right, here we go. I'm going to hook this in like so. And then you can see there's the black washer is on the bolt head side. I'm going to slip the first one through, washer on the back side, and then nylock nut on the back side as well. Just spin it on. You don't need any tools at this stage of the installation. And then the second one here, washer on the back side, nylock nut on the back side too. And sometimes it's actually easier to leave the lower crash bars loose as well a little bit, the lower crash bars bolts. It's not necessary, but in case things get a little bit too tight for you, that's one way to remedy it, one way to doctor it. But if you leave these bolts nice and loose, then you should have no issues. So as you can see, the brackets hanging down here, there's quite a bit of space between the oil pan and the catalytic converter, but the issue here is that the catalytic converter is about half an inch or about 50 millimeters, 50 millimeters lower than the oil pan. So that's why there's so much gap in between here. All right, let's go ahead and put in those M6 by 20 millimeter long tapered Allen bolts. Don't forget about the washer. Spin on the nylock nut and just leave it nice and loose. Again, no tools are needed at this point, at this stage of the installation. Okay, so the front bracket is in place. I left it loose enough. Also, as you can see right here, I have a scissor lift. If you have one of these, highly recommend it. If not, then try to put something underneath, stack it up, unless you have help, an extra set of hands. If not, then this could be super useful. So it doesn't really matter which bolts you begin to put in first. You can go ahead with the M6s through the bracket here, or you can go ahead with the small countersunk M6 by 20s. The countersunk, the tapered bolts are not so easy to access on the back side. So once again, just take your time. It might be easier, a little tip here for you, if you go ahead and kind of match up the washer and the nut and put it on top of one of the holes that you want to put the bolt through. Line that up and then just put the bolt in and turn it while keeping one finger on the nylock nut and the washer. So that's going to make it so much easier. You can see I already have one started. So that's a little tip for you in the tight spots anyway. As you can see now the bracket is secured, the front bracket, and things are still loose here, which is very good. And now we can wrap up the rear end right here. All right, this is all looking good now. And I can lower it down. Everything is still nice and loose, which is good. Then the next step would be to nicely and gradually tighten every single bolt and nut. Make sure that you're not cranking one bolt all the way till the end, till it bottoms out, because then it could begin to pull on the structure on this side, and then the other side is going to be misaligned. So I highly suggest that you do everything gradually. So a few turns on each bolt, and then go on the other side in a few turns, or start with the larger diameter bolts like the M8 ones, and then this, and then finally these guys down here. Either way, the point is that you do everything gradually. All right, in terms of torque specs, the M8 bolts take 23 Newton meters. The M6s take 10 Newton meters. As always, it is your responsibility to make sure that your torque wrench is properly and precisely calibrated, because it needs calibration from time to time. So that's that. Should you have any questions, you can reach out to us via email, info@outbackmotortek.com, or you can also call toll-free 877-931-3636. And we also recommend that you double check all the bolts and nuts once again after a decent test ride, whether that's 100 miles or 150 kilometers or so. Up to you, but do double check them. Thanks a lot for watching.